I feel the need to record and post this video because my last video was fairly open-ended. While I pretty much confirmed that, in my opinion, the Lolcow posts were Shannon, I believe that entirely. I knew nothing about the EmilyArtful's situation, and I had a tiny, tiny little ray of hope that maybe Shannon would come clean. And now things have obviously changed, with Shannon removing a lot of her social media. What I didn't tell you guys in my last video is that I actually messaged Shannon directly on Instagram after I saw her community post. I had no knowledge about anything regarding her and Lolcow or Emily whatsoever, and I was still buying into the Amy story. I didn't know any of this, and so I messaged her and we had a conversation. Granted, it didn't last hours, but it was quite detailed, and I was trying to be as supportive as possible, and in return, Shannon lied to my face. Yeah, I'm not friends with Shannon. I've never been friends with Shannon, but it really just bugs me, and that's what made me mad originally when I made my first video, because I had been lied to my face, and that's not a good feeling no matter who it is. In this video, I want to briefly sum up some points that Emily made in her video. How do we know that Shannon knew about the things that Anthony was doing? How involved Shannon was with Anthony's obsessive stalking of Emily? And some other arguments I see. I'd also like to say that the people who are saying that this is circumstantial evidence on Emily's behalf, well, you guys must not believe Shannon's Amy story whatsoever in that case, because circumstantial evidence is better than no evidence. Emily provides circumstantial evidence, but regardless, that's better than any evidence Shannon has ever given. She has not given any evidence for the existence of Amy, nor has she given any evidence to Tipster regarding her claims that she is having privacy complaints and copyright strikes on her videos now. So let's go into the background of this. EmilyArtful makes the alleged claims, that I have to say allegedly for everything in this video because I don't want to get in trouble, that her ex-boyfriend Anthony Parker for the past 10 years-ish has been stalking, harassing and extorting her online, using certain things against her, such as inappropriate images that have been taken from her. Some of them were taken when she was not of the legal age. Now, we know Anthony has connections to Emily because Emily sang in one of his songs and actually appeared in the music video for it. She also made references to them being in a relationship and being in love in their Snapchat conversation, which Anthony doesn't try and deny. Another piece of evidence would be that they both lived in the same city at the same time. Maybe that's circumstantial. Who knows? How do we know that Anthony is currently with Shannon or has a connection to Shannon? Emily said that Shannon worked with Anthony, which is something that Shannon herself has confirmed on her Instagram in the past by saying, yes, I work with Anthony. They both lived in their cars for a significant amount of time, and Anthony explained how his day-to-day life would go with his girlfriend going to the library to do work, and Shannon also talked about going to the library to do work as well. In a conversation with Anthony, Emily also makes the comment, oh, I didn't know you were dating Shannon, and again, Anthony does not deny it. So let's talk about, did Shannon know about Anthony's harassment of Emily? And I'm going to have to give this a solid without the shadow of a doubt, yes, because according to Anthony in his day of the life of being homeless, he would state that they would spend all their time together, without naming Shannon specifically, but we know it was Shannon. They would wake up at 9, they would get food, go to the library, then they'd get some more food, go back to the library, and then head back to the car for bed. They would be together all the time. Are you telling me that they'd just be on the other side of the library from each other? Like, they never worked together? There were no times in which Shannon would have seen what he was doing? And according to Ashley, she put a screenshot up of Shannon confirming that her and Anthony still share a phone. So They're sharing all the same devices, they've got access to the same things. Are you telling me that this man just wiped his history after every single use to give back to Shannon? He never left a tab open. They're married, they're living in a car, they're now living together. So, now that I've pretty much established my opinion that Shannon 100% knew, how much did she participate? And for this, I'm going to have to bring in my knowledge of accomplices. And when I talk about this, I want to make it very clear that I'm talking about relationship dynamics and not trying to make comparisons between the outcomes of these dynamics. For example, people got a bit confused when I made a video about Onision and Kai, and I compared them to different types of accomplices over the years. I wasn't comparing the crimes to what Onision and Kai did. I don't think that Kai and Onision are the same as Fred and Rose West. Obviously, what I was doing was analysing this type of accompliship, this relationship, to determine how active a person is in different types of specific activities, quote unquote. The reason that I'm using criminal pairs is because it's an illustrative point that a lot of people can understand the different types of dynamics through. And these types of relationship dynamic can be regarding anything, not just particularly crime. It can just be general interests, how much a person will participate in their spouse's interests. The reason that I'm using crime as a point is because you're going to understand that a lot more than me saying, you know, Mary and John down the street. They're a type 3 relationship dynamic when it comes to gardening. Another reason why I'm using criminal couples to illustrate these kind of things is because it's a much more reasonable comparison than just a regular hobby, because it would take a hell of a lot more time, effort and secrecy to stalk, threaten and harass somebody for years than it would to go out gardening for an hour. You're going to notice that these things are happening, and it's going to be very rare for people not to notice, which brings me to the first non-type of accomplice, which is completely inactive, unaware accomplices. Think John Wayne Gacy's wives. They had no idea what was going on and did not participate whatsoever, therefore not accomplices. I guess if you really wanted to go down the gardening analogy, your partner sneaks out during the night and fulfills their interest of gardening, and you are unaware and just think that something magical has happened overnight, that you suddenly have a new flower bed. I've already gone over the reasons why I think this doesn't fit Shannon, this phenotype doesn't. I think you'd notice that something was going on. And again, this is a very rare form of accompliship / non-accompliship, because you're gonna notice something. It's not common that this happens. Now, my first type of accomplice, my first official type of accomplice, not officially as in psychological literature, I've just formed these types of accomplices based off my research and what I learnt in my degree. You have to cite me when you cite this. No, you don't. It's not official literature, sorry. Anyway, number 1, the passive accomplice. They are aware of what is going on, but they don't participate, and if they do, it's on rare occasions. Think of The Girl in the Box, the case of Cameron Hooker kidnapping Colleen Stan, and his wife knew about it, but didn't particularly participate in what was going on with Colleen. Now, the reason that she did this, which is a reason a lot of passive accomplices exist, was to use Colleen as a substitute, because she didn't want to have to endure what her husband wanted to do. Again, this doesn't particularly fit for Shannon because Anthony was already going after Emily before he got with Shannon, so it wouldn't have been like Shannon was being stalked, harassed and threatened and she just said, okay, you know what, use Emily as an outlet. I don't think that's what happened. Type number 2. The appeasement accomplice. This person participates in what their partner wants because they want to appease them. It's not really because they enjoy it, but they just want to make their partner happy. This is a difficult one to have an example for because many different criminal pairs over the years could argue to be this type, but also the next type we're going to talk about. It's theorised that Myra Hindley did the things that she did to appease Ian Brady. But then again, we don't really know, because a lot of the time a defence will be in court, I did it to make them happy, or they made me do it. So it's a hard one to find a solid example for. I think it's very possible that Shannon fit into this type because, again, Anthony was already fixated on Emily, and I guess she might have felt a bit jealous of Emily and wanted to take out some things on Emily because of it. We think that Shannon did send some of the messages because of the language change, how it became more catty, and how Emily managed to pick up whether or not Anthony or Shannon sent the message. And the last type is the active accomplice. Somebody who is actively in on it, they enjoy it, and they do it alongside their partner, Fred and Rosemary West. I think Shannon was very much active. I'm going to get onto this in a little bit, but I think this is definitely a possibility. So I've gone through the background of it, whether or not Shannon knew, and the different types of relationship dynamics that occur with people in general. And I'm going to talk about how Emily's story actually fills in a lot of the gaps for me, and why I think it was the last type of accomplice. I think she was fully into this. A problem that I had with the Lolcow posts are why? Because I knew that it was Shannon's IP. I knew that Shannon had something to do with this, and as we've gone through the different types of participation, I genuinely believe that yes, a lot of the posts were her, if not all of them. But there are so many more easy ways to stir up drama and bring traffic to your channel than using a Lolcow forum, or any forum for that matter of fact. There are so much more easy and straightforward ways, and if it was just to vent, then it's a pretty stupid thing to do. But now it makes sense to me because of Emily's story. This is just my personal opinion and my personal conclusion. Shannon was comfortable doing the Lolcow posts because she had done it before. She was used to creating anonymous accounts and sock accounts to harass Emily, and therefore using Lolcow anonymously just made sense to her. Because another problem that I had with the Lolcow posts were, why randomly start doing this 2 years ago? Like, this is the only time that she's done something anonymously. Why randomly 2 years ago? Now it doesn't seem that random. Again, she's used to doing this. This is what she does. And I don't think she's stupid. I think she just got cocky because she hadn't been caught all the other times before and didn't expect to be caught. And when Lolcow's admins outed her, she panicked and made up a really stupid excuse as a result. This is why Emily's story filled in the gaps for me. It made a lot more sense. I think that's everything that I have to say regarding it. All the puzzle pieces fit now, makes a lot of sense to me, and I'm still mad that I was lied to my face, because now I know that the story that Shannon told us about Amy, yeah, that was what she did to Emily. I'm pretty sure of that. Whether or not you want complete evidence or you still want to hear Shannon's side, I don't think we're going to get it anytime soon. And unless anything else happens or anyone else comes forward with similar claims to Emily, I don't think I'll be covering it, because it's just sad. I mean, a lot of people have said, I saw this coming. Unfortunately, I didn't. And yeah, I feel pretty stupid, but I'll get over it. I want you guys to send a lot of love to Emily and anyone else who was affected by Shannon, particularly her friends like Ashley and Ready to Glare. So without further ado, I'm going to end the video here. I'll see you guys soon.